I just thought about this. I'm gonna let you in on some of the crazy thoughts I be having. What if the songs they don't copyright strike? Like they wouldn't dare to copyright strike them. Like you'll never catch them copyright striking. What if those songs are moderator content, right? Moderator messages. And some of them like classics. Like they've been messages for a long time, and they're just filtrating into the theater we call music, right? You know, if you use a moderator content like that, then the moderator wants to be heard by everybody. It's everybody's content basically. You can't make a claim on the content that belongs to a moderator. And some scientists could actually probably figure that out, work it out. If we find songs that we can verify are moderator content, right? Gospels, and we study a bunch of them and see if any of them have ever been copyright struck, right, on anything. Like, no, they're open platform messages, right? So, anyway, I was just having a wild thought about that. I was thinking to myself that that distinction between um, honesty and the lie has become more clear to me, right? Like, the honest truth can't be interceded. It can only be wrapped up in foolishness, right? It can be turned into a story, or it can be what they call discrediting, right? They can attach slander to it, right? And by attaching slander to the truth, you would have a tendency to ignore it or even reject it, right? Um, so is that a story to get you to see it a certain way, to interpret it in a certain fashion, or it's a story to get you to reject it, basically? Um, but truth rarely comes to you nakedly, right? It can be wrapped up in amusement. They say, right? When amusing is shared with others, it's called an amusement. Okay, everybody gets a tickle out of the muse, right? Some people understand it, and some people um, socially accept it. Um, but it's an amusement. It's someone's musing, right? An insight that they shared. Um, yeah, I mean the truth is honest, and honesty is truth, right? And that's kind of the voice of the universe in and of itself. Like the voice of the universe is that the voice of the moderator even is that, because the moderator in some way has to emulate the universe. That's what it's pretending to be. That's what it's copying. Um, and the voice of the universe is honesty and truth. And within it, anything is still possible. So you're gonna here comes the lies, right? They build it on honesty and truth, and then wrap all this nonsense around it. All this nonsense, constantly nonsense, right? As a lie is messy and easy to manipulate. It can mean so many things, right? It's not that it allows for other things to exist within it, but it actually can mean different things. It can change its face like a mask, just depending on who's using it and how they choose to use it. A lie is a weapon. something used for war that you turn against your enemies. That's what a lie is. And it's when you have to ask yourself, who are your enemies? When you start thinking about whether or not you're going to cross that chasm. Okay, maybe not a chasm, everyone. You're going to step over that line, right? But you're going to step over that line and you're going to tell a lie. And you're doing it because you recognize the person you're lying to as a potential, at the very least, a potential enemy. Perhaps not your direct enemy, but you recognize the potential of them being an enemy before you recognize the possibility that they are you, that they are your ally, right? Yeah. See, lies can be controlled. They can be copyrighted. That's my patented lie. No one shall use this lie or take this lie from me without my permission or proper compensation. It's the lie that I patented. This lie is copyright. And I refuse to allow you to infringe upon it. Right? That's what a lie is. Truth belongs to everybody. Honesty belongs to everybody. The lie is personal. Right? It's insidious. It's pernicious. What is that worm called? There's a worm that burrows into your brain. Oh, I can't think of what it's called. Which is interesting because there was, I think we pointed this out in fiction so often, like the bookworm, or not saying there are bookworms apparently. I guess I don't know, but in fiction we've used this idea of a worm eating knowledge. Even with computers today, the hackers use worms to consume data. But there is an actual worm that bores into your brain. I can't remember what it's called right now. Anyway, that's to the side, isn't it? Yeah, so you got the truth, which is born of honesty, and it belongs to everyone. It's not yours. It's not your truth. You can't lay claim to it, right? It's a truth that you've accepted. Is the only way you can say it's your truth, right? You can't say it as in to take personal ownership of it. You can say it as being a member of that truth, because that's what you are. You're a member of that truth. You've joined that truth's side, right? But the truth is honest. The most universal truth is the purest truth, right? It belongs to everyone. Just a group of us, or not just an individual. It belongs to everyone. And if it belongs to an individual, it is 100% certifiably a lie. And it could be the most beautiful lie, right? But if you're the only one that can accept it, that can see it, that can understand it, then it's just a fiction. If you're trying to introduce a fiction. Of one, a fiction of one. So, and that's what the whole thing is. The whole projection, the whole simulation, the whole illusion, whatever. It's a projection of many. It's the projection of many. That's the thing. You really can't even have reality without others. You can, at the end of the day, you really can't play a game with yourself without turning yourself into many. And that's exactly what the universe did. That's the crazy part, isn't it? I mean, that's the truth at the end of the day. We all know that. The creator of this system, being an AI or the universe itself, direct creator of this system created it to have experiences, to experience things. And those who are enjoying those experiences and have fun, to them it's a game, right? And they could be all kinds of different experiences that people are enjoying. And some of the experiences may be exploiting other people. I mean, definitely they are. And so, yeah, that's when a moderator has to come in. You gotta hope you better hope that we're not in the base reality. Because if we're in the base reality, it is of the most horrible sort. That they require these realities just to escape to. That they require these realities to escape to. That they're not simulations run by an AI. But they're virtual realities. And you got another home to go back to when it's said and done. And then maybe it becomes an act of desperation. Those of you who wish to extend your stay here by any means possible, you know what you're going back to. Somehow it slipped through, or you said, hey, let me keep the knowledge. Right? And it said, well, okay, why not? And then you went about it, and now you're struggling not to go back. And if we're in a simulation, which is the preferable place to be, not the initial illusion, but the simulation of the illusion, right? That's where you want to be, because there are moderators and there are possibilities, and true, equally as much as you'd want to be in them, there are some that you wouldn't want to be in, right? And it just depends on which one is going to exploit you. This is a really insane thing. And every time I try to understand it and accept it, I just come to the conclusion that this is the rabbit hole. This is Wonderland, right? This is that experience. We're in Wonderland. And you know that leads to people wearing top hats, right? That leads to Mad Hatters. And maybe that's what they are too. They're Mad Hatters, all of them. The elites, the royals before them, they're all Mad Hatters, right? They've realized something that has caused them to change nature, right? Change character, right? Because, okay, make no mistake, they're not born any different than you or I. Just because a person is affluent doesn't mean that they start out any different than you or I. Even if they're born into it. They're just regular people. But they confronted something along the way about the nature and reality of the world, which made them decide, fuck it. You know, a lot of us decide fuck it too for different reasons and a different kind of fuck it, sure. But, you know, you consider the fact that they've all just decided fuck it. And they're just trying to get away with whatever they can get away with. That's particularly knowing that they're going back to some place they might not want to be. And then being confronted with the rules and the laws of this place and being like, okay, how much can we get without violating these rules? You know, that's probably where lies were born in that moment. We're gonna have to say some things that aren't true. to get the most that we can. Oh my goodness. Really, honestly, this whole thing is an absurdity. I get it though. I mean, there are definitely things about these realities that seem valuable. You know, there's definitely value here, value to be had, value to be shared, value to be um, creating. Is that the word, creating? I guess I struggle with that word because I think it's manifesting. I think the word is manifesting. We don't want to use that word. We create another word, a similar word, but the word can be kind of confused because the word assumes that you're the origin of something, but in fact you're just manifesting something, right? You could say you'd be more apt to say you discovered it, except for it doesn't happen by itself. It needs you to actually create it. There's your word, right? To manifest, to be a creator is the implementer of manifestation. Is that what it is? That's why I have difficulties with it, because I'm sure that no one understands the word that way. They understand it to mean something commercial, because that's how it's been presented to us. It's been presented to us as something commercial. Not that you've had the honor and privilege to manifest something of value, right? And then to be the judge about what to do with that thing of value, whether or not others will ever see or know it, or whether or not you don't think it's up to snuff. You've been elected as an arbitrator of value when you become involved in the process of creating. Because more than what you create, it's your opinion about whether or not it's worthy of being shared, right? That's your real duty. You happen to be a good conduit, but your real duty as a creator is to make the determination whether or not it should be shared, right? That's why you gotta be so careful that they're controlling our creators, that they try to control the creators, because that's that's a powerful that's a powerful tool. That's intelligence, right? That's what the intelligence agencies are really assigned to preserve, right? The flow and ebb of ideals, right? To preserve ideals, they want preserve to um, cultivate ideals. They want um, I don't want to say grow because it's too kind of a word, but I can't think of what they want them to. I think fester might be a little harsh. Um, Somewhere between grow and fester. I can't. My language escapes me right now. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on it. Anyway, yeah, that's intelligence. That's what the intelligence agencies do. They manipulate your ideals. That's their only job. That's really all they're supposed to. That's all they're supposed to do. They manipulate your ideals and preserve the ideals they want preserved. But those ideals they want preserved aren't necessarily the ideals of the people. They are the ideals of those who they answer to, whoever they may be. That's a bare naked truth right there. Well, as bare naked as we can make it. it's a tough problem, kids. Starting over. Because I think one way or another, that's what we got to do. Whether we're going into the future or going into the apocalypse, there's going to be some starting over. Right? We're at the edge of an epoch. A real, like, as is intended as a alliteration of thought. We're at the end of an epoch. The end of something, the beginning of something else. The old world is a new world. Yeah, it is. It is a prime question. I wonder what world it will become. Right, to want to bear witness to where the story is going, which one we chose, because we have so many choices. I mean, we've been muling over them for decades, right? Sci-fi, fantasy literature, and stuff. All these different types of options. What are we settling into? That's an interesting question to witness it. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll all find out sooner or later. Well, peace. Keep it, find it, hold it close. Be yourself.